it's Jay. Today I'm back with my niche winter list. So let's jump right into the video. Again, I've done categories. We're going to start with fresh. Okay, so these are the fragrances in my niche collection that I feel are strong enough to stand up to the winter cold. Okay, the first one is Draco. Okay, this is peachy baby powder musk, as I've said before, but the musk makes it so strong. It definitely can last the cold weather. So this is Draco. If you want like a fruity, fresh fragrance, this is one to look at. Also, I like Valkyrie by Sylvain Delacourt. This is sandalwood, this is vanilla, but there are also some fresh spices and some, not spices, but some fresh herbs, and also some galbanum in here, but it's a deeper vanilla fragrance with some fresh notes at the top, vanilla and sandalwood. So this is another fresh fragrance that I feel will last through the winter. Okay, the next category that I have is winter florals. Okay, this is Amaze and this is Portrayal Woman. See if I can get you to see. It's hard, but this is a jasmine, vanilla, and tobacco fragrance. The tobacco in here is it's not cigarette-like, but it's also not necessarily wet. I think that the sweetness comes from the jasmine and the vanilla. Definitely not a cigarette tobacco, but not my favorite tobacco, which is a wet, kind of juicy tobacco leaf. Still very, very beautiful. This is strong. You only need a few at most if you're going to be out where it doesn't matter if people smell you or not. Probably about 4, 5 is probably pushing it sprays. This is very strong. Okay, the next one is floral, but it's a different type of floral. It's a different mood of fragrance. That would be like going out, the Amaze Portrayal Woman. I see this going out very dressed up. This one is Amaze Lilac Love, and this one is soft and cozy. This one is lilac. This is cacao at the top. You get vanilla. There's some gardenia in here too. So this is very floral, but also powdery and sweet. Again, the Portrayal was sweet, but this is sweet and powdery with some gourmand touches to it. So if you guys haven't tried this one out, this is not a safe blind buy. I don't think everybody likes this fragrance, but those of us who do, this is something I will always have. I mean, I probably never run out of it, but if I did, I would definitely repurchase this. I've gotten compliments on this fragrance as well too. So this is Amaze Lilac Love. The next one I haven't gotten a full bottle of. I don't necessarily need it because I still have my decant, but this is Tuberose Imperial by BDK. This is, it's a airy fragrance. It's a light fragrance, kind of like a bubblegummy, cotton candy, airy vibe. But the vibe is, the cloud around you is very strong. I sprayed this fragrance in the summertime and it was very, very strong. People could smell me. I kind of was surprised, but also embarrassed. So I think because of the strength of this fragrance, you can use it for the winter. But this is very floral, very powdery, sweet, bubblegummy, cotton candy, airy, but the projection is excellent. So that's BDK Tuberose Imperial. This next one is by Mancera, and this is Roses Veni. I think this is a good mix of roses and vanilla, but I'm going to use it for my floral list. And I would say it's the vanilla gives the rose some sweetness. Okay, so this is definitely a rose vanilla floral winter fragrance. That's beautiful. This next one is Club de Nuit Intense by Armaf. This is also a rosy fragrance, but instead of vanilla, there's patchouli. So I don't know, if you guys haven't seen my designer winter fragrance list, check it out. I described Elisab in Le Perfume Intense as balmy because it has that patchouli in it, and I feel like this one has that same type of patchouli that feels kind of wet, moist. So rose, it's sweet, but that patchouli gives it kind of a moist feel, an earthy feel. This is beautiful. This is said to be a dupe for Tom Ford Noir de Noir. So if you're looking for that, this is a great option. I have tried Noir de Noir from a dabber. I haven't sprayed it for myself, but it is pretty close to the dabber. So if you're looking to try it, this is inexpensive as well. So you're not gonna lose much if you get it and you don't like it. Definitely a beautiful rose patchouli fragrance with some sweetness. The next fragrance, I was on the fence about whether I liked it or not. And I do like it, but it has to be on a cold, cold day, because the rose in here, to me, is very strong. It's very deep, very dark, and it's dry. It's dry. It almost reminds me of like a potpourri style rose. I can tolerate that on the cold, cold days, I found. This has a lot of sandalwood in it as well, so it can be equally a rose sandalwood fragrance. There's some cacao at the top when you first spray it, and that kind of hangs around in a powdery, sweet way throughout the fragrance, but it's not overtly cacao throughout the life of the fragrance. It's mostly about the rose and the sandalwood. And so for this list, because it is winter, I'm going to say this is a winter rose with the sandalwood, as well. But again, I can say that I like this fragrance because of only in the winter, only in the coldest months, excuse me. So if you're looking for a rose fragrance with a woody, strong woody support, definitely try out Centaur Magic. This is by Serge Lutens, if I haven't said. But try it out. This is not for everybody. This was almost not for me. So the next one, the next category will start our soft spices. So this is Tonka Imperial by Guerlain. Let's see if I can see. This is Tonka, almond, vanilla. There's some greenness at the top. I think kind of piney feel. Tonka, I said Tonka. But this fragrance dries down to its powdery, almondy, Tonka. It almost reminds me, there's a lot of amber, so it's an ambery fragrance as well. This is really beautiful. This is unisex. Definitely a man would have no problem pulling off this fragrance. It has a powdery vibe, and it's not heavily sweet. This is a fragrance that is sweet, but not over the top. So that's Tonka Imperial by Guerlain. The next one is a soft spicy that I love. I've come to love it. This is Veni by Tom Ford. There is rum. There's suede in here, soft spices, but vanilla. So it's a spicy vanilla fragrance with that dry suede and the rum. It's really beautiful. So if you haven't tried out Veni you should definitely try that out. There's this one that I will never stop mentioning. This is Valjean by Parfums de Marly. Cinnamon bun. This is what it smells like. Heavy, heavy cinnamon, heavy vanilla. It's very sweet, very spicy, but smooth. I will always say that it is smooth. This is beautiful. This is gourmand, okay? So this is Valjean by Parfums de Marly. Well, again, gourmand is something that you can eat, so that is Valjean. The next one are going to be my sweeties. I'm frowning because I'm looking. This was hard for me to categorize. This is Calumet Black by Arabian Oud. Okay, so this fragrance has definitely a development. When you first spray it, it's a little bit resinous. It has olibanum, and so that is a resin that has a fresh feel. I think it's myrrh or frankincense. I'll put it up in the somewhere so that you guys can know, so I can clarify it. But it also has basil in it. I don't too much get the basil, but I definitely get the fresh resin. Smokiness, there's oud in here, woody, and there's also a heavy dose of vanilla. And so I don't know if people would call this a spicy fragrance, maybe, but it's also a woody, smoky, vanillic fragrance. It's also sweet, fresh at the top, but it definitely gets sweeter as it dries down. And so I'll just leave that there, perhaps in its own category before I get to my sweeties. But this is Calumet Black by Swiss Arabian. Okay, one that I have no trouble, these ones I don't have any trouble categorizing them at all. This is Casablanca by Swiss Arabian. This is caramel apple with a dose of wood, a heavier dose of wood. So this will definitely last, definitely sweet enough and strong enough to project and last through the colder months. This is beautiful. Casablanca by Swiss Arabian. The next one is another fragrance with a woody base that has some freshness at the top, still sweet. This is the Cottle by Fueguilla, 1933. So there's cacao, there's vanilla, there are some florals. You definitely smell florals in this fragrance, but it is a sweet, there's rum in here. So the rum gives the wood and the vanilla in here as well some sweetness. But also, I don't know, this fragrance is really, really beautiful. It's not overtly chocolate. The chocolate is a little bit in the background, and it's more about the wood. The florals, I feel they brighten it up a little bit so that the wood is not so heavy. But yeah, the rum and the vanilla, cacao is a supporting player. This is a really beautiful, woody, sweet fragrance for the winter as well. And that's the Cottle. This is supposed to be like a drink, like a hot cocoa drink. And I'll put a little bit more up, but I don't get a lot of the cocoa. And it's not even that spicy, but definitely woody, definitely sweet. I'll move on. The next one I think is, I've said, is probably the sweetest fragrance that I have. This is Mula Mula. This is Syrupy Peaches. This is by Byron Parfums. Syrupy Peaches with red berries. I still smell the wood when I first spray this fragrance. It gets a little woodier as you wear it, but that sweetness, it's syrupy, sweet. Peaches and oud and red berries. So that is Mula Mula by Byron Parfums. The next one is also by Byron Parfums. This is the Chronic. This one is a little bit hard to describe. I think I've said in the past that it has a little fizziness on the top, but mostly it reminds me of a kind of ginger ale, like a flat ginger ale feel. Very syrupy sweet. There's supposed to be cinnamon, there's leather. The notes in here do not, I would never guess this fragrance smelled the way it does by reading the notes. There's pepper at the top. It's like a syrupy, I would say it's like a syrupy fizzy on the top, but dries down to a flat kind of ginger ale feel. If you guys have this fragrance, put it in the description box how you would describe it, because I have a hard time, but that is the best that I can do for now. So flat ginger ale, that's the Chronic by Byron. All right. So the next one I have is Initio. This is Absolute Aphrodisiac. This is a vanilla fragrance, but it has some leather and some castoreum, and so it's just the slightest bit animalic. And it's nothing that is off-putting at all. It just adds a richness to the fragrance, maybe. Something that makes it a little bit unique or keeps it from being just a straight-up vanilla fragrance. But this is by Initio, and this is Absolute Aphrodisiac. And the last one I would have to say is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. This is Gourmand Coquin by Guerlain. So this is rum, this is cacao, this is vanilla, some spices. I get nutmeg in here. And so there's rose in here as well. So when you first spray it, it almost gives, not almost, to me, I get a chocolate covered strawberry. When I first smell this, that dies down. Give it a couple minutes or so, that note dies down, and what I end up with is like, I say it almost smells like nutmeg, and I think that's because I smell a lot of not nutmeg, but eggnog, and I think that is because I get a lot of nutmeg from this fragrance. Nutmeg to me is very creamy, still soft and spicy, but yeah, there's chocolate, soft spices, vanilla, rose in this fragrance, and rum. So all of that gives me chocolate covered strawberry in the beginning, but eggnog in the base. So this fragrance, if you haven't tried it, if you can, it's kind of harder to find. I don't mention it a lot, but I definitely feel like I need to be wearing this more. Don't want it to go to waste. So that is Elixir Charnel Gourmand Cocan by Guerlain. Okay, so that's my winter niche list. I'm glad I could get these out to you guys. And that's it for today. I hope you guys are having a great day. Love, Jay. Bye-bye.